Hello there guys, it is me, the X whatever, and today we're doing What If Deku was transported to danmachi with a twist, part 2. However, if you hear me saying really sounding really tired, it's because I just woke up and I'm kinda cranky, but yeah. But just to keep you up to date, yes, I have updated the video, the thumbnail. Tell me comment section, do you like it? If you like it, then thank you guys so much for liking it, and I'll get right to it. But before I begin, well, I've been discussing whether or not he should have Jarvis in his world. But I've decided that he's gonna build Jarvis in Dachima, because in his world he never built Jarvis. But in this one he's gonna be building that. And there's still 2 months when Bell gets to to the city. Can't remember the city's name. But yeah. The reason why Rivia and Hestia is in the thumbnail and her is because I just want them there. And, green hair kind of ships them together. Yeah. Anyway, I get to it. God damn, I need my morning coffee. Seriously. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I'm just making sure my mic's not muted this time. Let's get into it. As Izuku Midoriya was having a hard time in the city, he's been there for about 3 days. I can't remember what day I set him on. I'll look in my previous video, so sorry. As Suzuki Midoriya begins tinkering with his Mark 1 armor, he did get verified by the guild, and he didn't say where he came from. Sorry about that, guys. Just I have a feeling someone's gonna barge into my door any minute, so I'm just preparing for that. So anyway, as he begins God, God damn it. The damn circuit board shocked me. What is he doing right? He is currently making more improvements to his armor, or trying to get it up to date. But however, in this era, it's extremely hard to do that. He still has the Mark 1. However, all the upgrades that he did to it were all limited, due to the parts that he had to make himself, like the electronics and stuff and the wiring. It will take Izuku a very long time, or until we've reached season 3, for this. He'll be able to have, I don't know, the mark, but I'll get to it anyway. As Midoriya's it's been really handy if I created an AI. But the problem is the computer components and the circuitry and the power source. Note to self: make an arc reactor later. That's gonna be extremely hard due to the limited resources that I have at my disposal right now. This is so goddamn fun. And the worst part is, I won't be able to go to the second floor to kill more monsters, is because I have to have a goddess. They're only permitting people the people without a goddess can only go to 1 floor. However, I really should get a goddess, or whatever the hell they are. Greek mythology was kind of my specialty as a kid, but I didn't think that I would actually be, transported to a world that gods and elves and fantasy exists. Well, I need some more parts. I only have limited values for now. Okay, I've decided. Azuki Midoriya has spent 2 weeks there. Yeah, he's adjusted to that dramatically, like, quickly because, Tony Stark, he built the armor in the cave, so he worked what he had, what he got. So, yeah. Azuki as, come on. Come on, come on. God damn it. Looks like the flamethrower cannot accept the new adjustments for, cannot accept the new adjustments for the flamer. Well, I guess tomorrow morning I better find a familiar. Or at least somewhere to frickin' join. Azuki Midoriya begins, covering up his Mark 1 armor with a blanket and begins going to bed in one of the abandoned houses in one of the parts of the city. Ezekiel wakes up. Oh, God, what time is it? As he looks up at the sun, judging by that, it's currently, let me just think, 7 a.m.? Nah, it's actually about 12 a.m. So he gets out of the bed well, I might as well go to the dungeon for a while and get some more Valis. Hopefully, Ina was able to find me a goddess. As he starts to go to the dungeon, as he sees Ina waving at him, saying, "Hey, over here." As he goes to her and asks her if there's any goddesses interested in him. As she says, "No, I am terribly sorry, but there aren't any." As Zuko's Midoriya's okay, I understand. As Azuki Midoriya begins saying, "Well, thanks for your help. I'll be going to the first floor." As she says, make sure you come back alive." As she's waving by at him got it." As he gets to the first floor, he pulls out a prototype propulsion cannon that he managed to build, at least, from, I don't know. You know the watch from Iron Man when Captain America versus him? Yeah, that's that watch. But it's only able to do that. And the power source for it is actually using Deku's arc reactor that is in his chest. And before you say anything in the comic section for him building the Mark II, the Mark II will begin building as soon as he joins Gods the Hestia's Familia. And I'm going to say after 2 months, that 2 months he'll begin building that, 2 months that he'll be done building that. And after that, Bell will be joining the Familia for her very first, Hestia Familia. However, Bell's gonna get the War Machine armor, and not like in Iron Man 2 how Rhodey takes Tony's armor and leaves. In this one, it's gonna be the opposite. Bell gets into the Mark II, starts beating the crap out of Izuku and shit, but I don't want to spoil any more details, or shut the fuck up. As he begins blasting his propulsion cannon from his hand and using his knife to finish off the monsters because he only has a limited amount of power for that thing. He manages to kill about 15 monsters. But he also got a magic item which doubled the cost, or gave him more money, and he's like, hell yeah. As he begins picking all that up and putting it into his bag, he notices that there's something shining in front of him out of a crystal out of the wall. So he begins to walk up to it and investigate it. He looks very closely, and he decides to rip it out because he's quite interested in it. He rips it out, and it finds it's actually, I'm trying to remember, a bit of vibranium. Why am I giving him vibranium? Well, it's only just like a shard. However, Izuku's like, judging by the texture and by the way I pulled it out, this is vibranium. Yeah, how small it is like 6 inches at least. Or 2 meters at least, that big or long. Izuku's like, I'd probably be able to make a better arc reactor with this. I'll put it in my bag and not tell anyone about this. Besides, they won't even know what vibranium is in this world. As Azuki Midoriya goes back down to the lobby. Yes, I'm calling it the lobby because I don't know the goddamn name for like that thing. As Ina's like, oh, Zuku, you're back. As Zuko's like, yeah, I also brought some crystals with me I got from the monsters. As he begins like handing them over to her, as she's like, okay, your total values would be about, if I'm writing the numbers correctly, with the magical item, about $500. Azuko's like, wait, what? And she says, oh, this item you got here this item you have here is like really, really rare. And it's actually pretty much worth about like $400. And Zuko's like, what? Really? And she's like, yep. Here's your Valis, and I hope you have a nice day, Zuko. Zuko's like, okay. Note to self. I got extremely lucky today. As he begins walking off, as Rivia notices him with that green kind of hair, he was like, is he an elf or a halfling? She can't tell because usually elves have a lot of magic, or even halflings have kind of a minimum of magic. Okay, you guys have to vote right. Tell me in the comment section, okay? You know what? The person who will comment this, I want them to comment this first. If you're the first person watching this video, comment this immediately as soon as I'm saying this. Okay. Wait, you guys see something? Okay, I'm good. Okay, I want you to comment this, and people who are watching this comment, like this guy's comment, because when he makes, like in Iron Man 2, when he makes the new element, what if that was a new type of magic? And a new element combining all the other elements, creating a pure light element. Not like light and dark magic, or any of those magics. But that magic is unique. And, he will be able to make spells, but I think his spells will be turned into his propulsion cannon for power. Or should he not have spells, or his armor, or is his armor the whole, incantation? So when he punches someone, it's like he's like on fire and getting knocked back like much more farther than the previous Iron Man suit. Or vote for not. But if you guys want to suggest this, if the guy wants to like make that like whatever one he wants, then do it. Let's get back into it. As Rivers like decides to try to ignore it, but she can't. she like keeps thinking of him like for like a while until she gets back to the Loki Familia. As Azuki Midoriya is like, okay. So I gotta fix, like, so I managed to get $500, huh? As he's walking home, like, I do need about, as soon as he was about to finish that sentence, he sees someone else walking over, like, near an alleyway. As he begins, like, saying, like, I haven't seen that girl before. As he begins, like, trying to follow her a bit, as she goes into this old abandoned church, and Zuko's like, why would anyone live there? As he is, like, really curious, so he begins to, like, walk in there and just say, excuse me, miss? As Zuko Midoriya begins looking around and just, Hess just slowly, like, turns around and he's like, oh, hello there! Hello there, I'm guessing you do you want to join my familia? Question mark, she asked, like, as Zuko's like, wait, you're a god? As Hestia's like, yeah, I'm a goddess, my name's Hestia. And he's like, well, wait. Zuko thought and said, this could be my chance to be able to go to the second floor. If I go to the second floor, I'll be able to get more materials and buy more equipment, or more parts, or AK have to build them. As Zuko says, yeah, I'm here to join your familia. As Heshi's like eyes begin to glitter with sparks, like, really? As Zuko's like, yeah, why wouldn't I be here? As Heshi's like, well, you see, not many of the gods are I'm pretty much in a huge debt, so that's why I couldn't. That's pretty much why you have not heard of me. And Izuku thinks, like, Hestia, as in the Hestia? Izuku's like, and I remember her being much more taller. Well, this is a different universe after all, so. But whatever, I guess I'll stick to it. As Suzuki Midoriya begins, like, agreeing with her, like, saying, like, he's 100% into joining the Familia, as she says, okay, I need you to take off your shirt and lay on your back, and Zuko's like, are you really a goddess, or are you trying to have sex with me? And Hesita's like, blushing, like, no, not like that. I just need to, you're, I just need to put my symbol on your back. You see, that's how I get your stats. Like, what are they? Basically, they're on your back. And Zuko's like, oh, I see. I am so sorry, goddess. I misinterpret that a lot. I still getting used to hanging out, being here. Just, I'm from a very far out village. As sister's like, okay then, follow me downstairs. As they get downstairs, and she begins, like, setting, begins, like, putting, like, grabs a blade and pokes her finger and drips her blood onto his back, and the Hestia, like, Familia marks there. As she begins checking his stats, he is a level 1, but his charisma, but his, like, strength is pretty, like, average for, like, a low level adventurer. Uh, but, his, intelligence, she cannot fucking read the number. She legit cannot read it. Like, the number is completely, like, 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 the screen for it is completely, like, gone. Like, the numbers are just all nines. And she, like, sees that they're even going over the stats, like, screen, and she's like, uh, uh, what? As it was like, is there a problem, goddess? And she's like, no, no, no. As she's like, there's probably a bug somewhere, because she's like, yeah, yeah, it's definitely a bug. Maybe just my imagination. And she's like, there you go, Azuku, you're my familia. Azuku's like, okay. Azuku's like, Hestia? As Hestia's like, yeah? Could you keep a secret? As he says, yeah. If you want to keep the secret, like, with me right now, we can do a vow. And Azuku's like, wait, that's real? And she's like, yeah. Are you not, are you just a sheltered child and don't know what the gods are? Or Azuku's like, no, I know what it is, but I didn't actually believe that there actually was real. I thought people were just making that up. And Esther's like, no. As if Deku's like, okay. As Deku like begins holding her hand, and then the chains begin wrapping around their arms, as she says, okay, my child, speak away. As Zuko Midoriya says, okay, I am from another place, but not from here. As she was like, what do you mean by that? As she notices that if he was lying, him and he would both be dead. And she was like surprised that that was the truth. And he also says, I'm also like a mad genius that is like his intellect cannot be matched by anyone here. As she's like, as she's like, that does. Wait, so that number I saw was actually real? And she in her head, and she's like, so why are you so smart? As Zuko's like, Hestia says, and Hestia says, and fuck, goddamn, I messed up my lines. As Zuko Midoriya's like, well, you see, I was born this way, and I am always thinking constantly of new ideas and brilliant inventions, like every 24/7. As she was like, what ideas? As Zuko's like, well, I don't want to get into them because they probably like make your mind explode, but that's all I want to say for now, goddess. As Hestia's like, okay, okay, my child. As Zuko's like, what? This is so weird being called a child for this woman. It's so weird. As the vow has been complete, Ezekiel begins walking off, and as soon as he begins walking off, he begins going to the abandoned house that he was staring at, begins packing up his equipment. But he does know he's not gonna be an idiot. Like, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna totally carry my armor by myself. No, he's gonna get into his armor. As he begins walking back to like the church, Hestia begins hearing a noise like clunk, 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 and she's like, "What is that?" As Mitsusu Midoriya enters the door wearing the Mark One armor, and he says, "Hey, goddess, I'm back." And Goddess is like, "Itsuki? What is that? It looks like pieces of scrap metal or like something like a garbage, something out of garbage." Azuka's like, yeah, this is the thing that I built by myself. As Hechi's like, oh, is this your armor? It looks pretty. Oh, so you're pretty strong then. Oh, wait, wait a minute. Hes just thinks about something like, it wasn't his strength just average? Like, you know how Bell's like really weak at the end, like in the anime. Like, you know, his strength, like his will, or like, you know, his like strength to wield a sword like that. Like, yeah, in this version, it's like, yeah, Zuko's like that, but he's gonna be buff, and like part two's gonna be working out like constantly, like, you know what I mean? Like, as Zuko's like, well, as Hester's like, how are you able to move that? How are you able to carry all that stuff? That must be straining. And Zuko's like, yeah, if it would be if it did not have an endoskeleton. as she's like, "What's an endoskeleton?" As Zuko begins explaining what it is. Basically, an endoskeleton is actually able to enhance your strength by a lot and your speed, and you're able to dodge much more faster, and it increases your strength incredibly. And she was like, "Oh, can you explain that? What more of those trinkets are?" And as Zuko's like, "Okay, so." After 2 hours of explaining legitimately, as Heshi's like, "Oh, okay." As Zigmundar also says that, also this thing that's going in my chest is like, I can't take that off. As Heshi's like, "Why can't you take that off?" As Zigmundar is like, "Well, if I take this off, goddess, I will die." As she's like, "Wait, if you take that off, you'll die?" As Zuko's like, "Yeah." So the reason I am why this like whole thing's like working is because this thing in my chest. But if I use it like too much, I I will die because there's shrapnel inside my chest that is slowly going to my heart. But with this thing on my, like thing in my chest, it's like holding them in place, like stopping them from going any further. It's just like, well, can't you just take them out? As Zuko's like, yeah, I cannot do that for you, goddess. I am terribly sorry because this is this for this to be removed, I'd have to legitimately build a surgical room where I have to make sure that someone who's extremely goddamn skilled in like removing the metal pieces in my chest. As she's like, was that why you were wearing like a double shirt underneath it? And Zuko's like, yeah. She's like, okay, I'll leave. I'm going out. I'm going back to work. And Zuko's like, okay, goddess, I'll be in the dungeon. As Zuko's like, hmm, oh shit. If I go to the dungeon wearing this, everyone will think that I'm someone new from the Loki Familia, from the Hestia Familia. And then I'll be able to. How should I put this? Basically, you know how in Iron Man 1 he had to keep his identity secret? Yeah, his identity will be revealed after the Minotaur, after Bell fights the Minotaur. And in that part, oh, you can probably guess what armor he's gonna get, but Mark II will be piloted by Jarvis, 100%. But however, since there's no mainframes in that world, Izuku Midoriya will have to settle installing Jarvis into a suit. And once he's installed into that suit, Jarvis will be limited, will have like a few, will be able to like get in, like, okay, I'm trying to explain as best I can. Jarvis will be able to like pilot the suit without Izuku, and I know, how does that make sense? Because you guys remember the Mark II? Like it had an old like arc reactor from like an Iron Man 1, so that's that one. As yeah, that will be happening. And when Deku gets Mark III, Ben who builds it, whew, that one is actually going to be able to come flying to him. And I know, the Mark 42 has that, and I'm like skipping a lot of like advancements, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not that like advanced for like coming towards him, so it's like a bit slower than the Mark 42. And yeah, I'll get back to it. As we cut back to, it's now been at least a day at least, 2 weeks now. Just Azuki being like it's like putting all he like has or everything that he had in that abandoned house into the church. And as soon as Hestia gets back, because Bell's like not Bell, Azuki's currently in the dungeon, and I'll get to that soon. As she gets in there, she sees a bunch of parts and tools and a blueprint that was like on the table, which she was pretty curious about. She began reading it, and yes, goddesses can read any language, even English. As she begins like looking at it really carefully, she was like, "Whoa, he really is a massive genius. Not only this will enhance his strength, because Deku fucking, Deku, he always like has a notebook. I'm gonna say he has like notes like on the blueprint, just saying Mark Two, Mark Two, way more improved. Flying capabilities are improved. However, going to try to break this out, going to try to go to the highest altitude. Thrusters have been improved. Weapons have been improved. Also, durability has been improved dramatically. However, I need an AI. AI name Jarvis. Still under construction. Just the third note just he has a second note just says note 2, build a girlfriend. And it says he's like I'm just gonna crush this because he doesn't need a girlfriend because I'm pretty sure I can just settle for I'm pretty sure he has me. And what does he mean by build a girlfriend? I just want to imagine this like note fucking 2, build a fucking girlfriend. That is so fucking hilarious. Oh, I want to see like so Friday. Hmm. How about for the Mark Two? Not Mark Two, Mark Three. Friday's been installed. Who should he look? Okay, you know in Iron Man the VR game, yeah. Who should she look like? Eyes or Hestia? Or like eyes like a different like younger kind of eyes, like a child eyes, but very, very goddamn mature. And everyone's like eyes' his reaction's like, wait, what the fuck? Eyes, is that you? And Lan's like, no. As we cut to Izuku, this is a flashback of him like doing it in a badass way, but anyway, I get to it. Okay. Okay, the thrusters for Mark 1 have been improved a little bit. Let's try this out. As Izuku Midoriya hits the button, as he begins flying up into the air, and he's like, God damn it, I just controlled the thrusters very carefully. As this is the time when the Loki Familia in their part in like episode 2, episode 3, then they just got back from the dungeon from their trip, because when Zuko arrived there, it had been 3 months, so he's been there for, I want to say, yeah, I already said like 2 weeks, so let's get into it. As he does it in a badass way, but like not a badass way. If that's reserved for the Mark II, as he drops to the ground, like creating like a bunch of dust, and he's like, "Oh shit!" As right in front of them, and Bet's like, "What is that thing? It looks like a piece of garbage." And everyone's like, and Zuko's like, "I'm so happy," and saw the voice changer. Like, sorry, still working on the bugs for this thing. Good day. As as everyone in Loki familiar was like, how the fuck did that? How the fuck did he? He just I just want to say they just think that he just like dropped down from somewhere, or he just like yeah he was flying and hit the ground hard. And Deku goes to Amina or Ina and like tells her like that he's the new member of the Loki Familia. Not the fucking Loki, Hestia Familia. God damn it! Slap me right now. Say slap X whatever. Go slap yourself and go to rehab for 18 days. You uncultured weebian. Okay, let's do this. As he begins like saying like, I'm the new member for the Hestia Familia. As and he is like, your voice sounds a bit familiar. As he whispers, as he just pulls out a note, just saying, as he like slips her an envelope, just saying, "Hey, it's me, Izuku Midoriya. Don't tell anyone I'm in this suit. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone who I am. Just call me, I guess, Iron Man. Just, just call me like, just call me like Iron Man or something like, or just bucket or rust boats. I don't know." As it means like, okay, go to the second floor if you no. Hope you have fun going to the second. Hope you have fun going to the floors. As he waves goodbye to Izuku wearing the Mark One. As he begins walking up the stairs, and people are like hearing a bunch of clunking. And it's like, what the fuck is that? As soon as he gets to floor 2, oh, it is not pretty. Like, not even goddamn good. Cause as everyone's like walking, like going to like the second floor, they just see all the walls are like covered in fucking like dark, like fucking charred and like burnt. As they just see like a fire on the ground, like some fire on the ground, like burning still. As they look up, as they looking at it, as they see someone coming, they see something coming, walking to them, walking through the fire to them. And this motherfucker is carrying one of the is holding onto one of Amanch's head, dragging the body with him. As they're like fucking terrified. They're like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like the walls were legit covered in like blood and burn marks. As Izuku Midoriya crushes the goblin's head and picks up the crystal. And yeah, let's just say that's how the rumor started. I don't know what rumor to give him. I don't know. As the adventurer's looking at him like, who are you? And Zuko's like saying, as Zuko says, voice changer, I am your, I am Iron Man. And Zuko did not notice this, but his voice changer got fucked up because one of the monsters hit him in the fucking like his helmet, and his voice, okay, like in his voice, pretend it was like Kratos, very deep but demonic, and they were like, what the fuck? As he leaves the dungeon, and the people are calling him the Demon for his rookie name, for his rumor title. And Eyes, as this reaches Loki Familia, or reaches Rivia, and like saying like, or reaches Eyes, and she's like, huh, the Demon, huh, I want to see what this guy is. And that's what will be this to be continued in part 3. But if you guys truly enjoy this, please smash that goddamn like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the goddamn subscribe button. If you did, great job. For part 3. Oh, part 3, guys. You should know what's gonna be in part 3. Part 3 will be when Bell will arrive in Dachima, and him join the Loki Familia. And I will make a hilarious backstory for that. like hilarious how Azuki and Midoriya, how they when Azuki meets his like other familia member. Anyway, if you truly like this, hit the subscribe button, guys, and I'll talk to you all in my next video. Goodbye.